So what does Ahadi mean? Ahadi literally means a promise, and today I am in Buruburu, whereby I get to meet one lady who has made this promise into something that has been turned into a business. Now, I don't have so much to say, but join me, Conchita Lillian, as we talk to one bit as to how this business is booming. Hi!
How are you?
Very excuse me.
You can wash your hands over
Safety.
here. This thing of corona now, you see, we have to sanitize and wash.
Oh, it's like it's a must that we keep our hands clean with
very much.
you know.
According to Ministry of Education, 2.8 million girls in both primary and secondary school cannot afford pads. This is also a confirmation of Huru International and even CARE. You find that 4 out of 10 girls stay at home during their menses because they don't have pads, they don't go to school. And this has really affected their education. You find that girls, when they miss out so much on education, then they cannot perform well. They end up being discouraged, and some of them drop out altogether. My name is Sheba. I'm the founder of Ahadi Reusable Pads. I started this company in end of 2018, so I've been in business for 1 whole year to now. I started this business because it has always been in my heart to help girls. As a young girl, I had an issue with pads. We used to live in a small house. We did not have pads, neither did we have electricity. So I just made some makeshift pads and I went to the library to read. So one day as I was packing my things to go, I found myself in a pool of blood and I didn't know what to do. I just picked my bags and my books and left. For a long time I was so ashamed and stigmatized. I don't know what happened behind me. But when I reached home, I didn't come back to the library a long time and I was in a day school. So I realized that my grades were going down. And since bad things were taboo, I wasn't able to discuss with my parents. But I just took courage and said that I'll go back, come what may. And when I went back, nobody asked me anything. And so I just continued. I did my exams, I passed. I went to college and I became a teacher. And so it has always been in my heart to do something. Though much later in life, I found that my periods had increased so much. And what was there was not sufficient. I was using a pad that I was changing every 30 minutes, 1 hour. And I needed to go for a funeral in Machakos. So a friend of mine showed me something. And I used it and it was okay. So when I asked her for some more, she had run out. So I decided, why don't I make something out of what I already know and I was using before. And that's how come I came with this pad. I came up with a pad that is reusable. We call them Ahadi reusable pads and it's like this. So I made an innovation. I took fleece materials from research and a lining, but in between I have a cotton padding and I have a sheet. It's called oilcloth to prevent leakage. And I tested it and here it is, it came out. But it is having gone through the training program for SOMO. We had a boot camp for 12 weeks, which we were attending once a week. And I was able to bring up my things together. I made a business plan and they were able to fund me. And that's how I got my first pad produced, and I've been producing and becoming better and better at it. So I don't have a challenge in the stitching side. I have a challenge on the marketing side. For one, I know that girls really need these pads, but they cannot afford. So I've been trying to get in touch with organizations, especially girls' education organizations, so that they can help me. They can buy pads from me and supply. They are reusable. You can use them for more than 12 times. They're easy to wash, dry, and then you reuse. I have a bag that you can keep them in. It is a wet-proof bag. In case a girl is outside, she can put her wet pad inside and then come home in the evening and soak for 15 minutes and wash. Capital was a big issue, right? But someone was offering a grant of 185,000 shillings. And within the 12 weeks, I had been able to do my research. I found places where I could buy the material fairly. This particular material, the guy sells for me at a special price because he knows that this is for going out to help. Other shops on Biashara Street will sell it for almost 600, 700.
A meter?
A meter. But he sells to me at a price that is really affordable. So I don't have problem in sourcing the raw materials, as I have said. I really worked hard to come up with a package. So within the 12 weeks, I was able to arrange myself in such a manner that I was able to produce a pad. The only challenges that I have so far is that the girls who need the pads cannot afford it. My business is so small, I cannot give out pads. But believe me that I've given out enough pads. So for me to be able to be sustainable, I would really need people to come up and partner with me so that they can buy the pads for the girls because they will be easily available. I also need to be out there so that people know that they can get pads from Ahadi. I'm working from home because rents are very high out there. And when you're starting out in business and you have a set capital, you'll find that most of your money would go out for rent. For example, a small place outside is about 5,000 shillings. And remember that I started only last year. I haven't met my peak. So it will be difficult for me to be paying rent every month and still paying rent at home. What I've done so far is that I have attended exhibitions where people have come to know about me. Some people have been kind enough to donate. I have partnered with an organization called Be Bold. They operate in schools like the one I've told you about in Kajiado. We went there and taught the girls how to use the pads and tell them their availability. But again, we needed somebody to come forward to intervene on their behalf and maybe buy pads for them. The other way that I market is through social media. I have a Facebook page and also through word of mouth, basically. And through SOMO, despite the fact that they gave us the initial capital, they still help us to market out our products. So those are the main areas. I'm trying to reach out to stakeholders in girls' education, but because COVID has come in, a lot of organizations are the attention has been drawn towards COVID, but they're forgetting that also girls are still needy. And if we just ignore this thing and allow it to continue, we'll find that we don't have girls coming back to school after COVID. So I know where the girls are. I have a school that I've partnered with also here in Jogoo Road, and several schools in Kiambio, just like a mile away from here. And I also have friends who are having schools in the slums in Huruma, and I'm believing God that I will be able to supply their pads if people would come and support me. The thing that I wish I could change in my business is to allow people to talk about this business, to tell them, to tell others, to connect me to others so that I can have a network. And then in this network, I'm sure my business will not fail, neither will I stop supplying a lifeline. Pads are a lifeline. They are an essential commodities. We no longer have stigma talking about them, and so nobody should go without pads because they can't access them, or they are very expensive, or some of the pads that are out there are reactive. Many people have complained that some pads burn, they have perfume, but these ones are natural. From how I have worked from the beginning of this year, I had started well. I got an order of 50,000 in January. I serviced it. Then I have been making pads for the people who I meet who already know me. And I was expecting to get more orders until the schools closed, because I had already made connections with schools and even other organizations that support girls, especially girls who are in rescue centers because they've run away, either because they were raped or because of FGM, or just because of poverty they cannot afford. There's an assurance that you have pads. You might have that 30 shillings, But you can't access pads at the end. You have the assurance that you cannot go without pads, because once you've washed them and kept, that is a problem solved. Ahadi has done up to this point. We have organized resources, as you can see. We have trained several people. We have offered employment for myself, my assistant, and occasionally we bring people in to do piecework so that they don't go without something. Together with that, because only 4 pads are disposed in an year, it will save the environment from pollution, which in turn will affect fish life, the quality of air that we breathe, and that is one of the achievements that Ahadi has had so far. Apart from keeping girls in school, help us that girls may maximize their potential and become the people that they would be without this challenge.
Well, pads issue should not be a choice but a right for all girls because it's not a taboo. Thank you so much for joining in today, Beth. Thank you so much. Until next time, is on to another business story. My name is Conchita Lillian.